Hello. Today is November 4th, 2023. And I just recently got back from a trip to Berlin. Spent about a week and a half there. And I wanted to make this video journal of sorts to document the experience and to be able to easily share it. So yeah, I flew out of Columbus on the 21st of October, um, went through Newark, and then to Berlin. Um, Arrived early morning on the 22nd, and then flew out of Berlin on the 2nd of November, and flew through Brussels, Belgium on the way back, connected through ORD, and then Columbus. And then just some motivations for the trip. I wanted to get more familiar with some international travel. Turns out it's pretty easy for the most part. Wanted to experience some German culture and history, and taking some time away from work is always nice. And I've been casually learning German for about 2.5 years, and of course, why not? So yeah, after departing Newark, just a couple hours after departure, I saw Berlin on the airport map, um, but it was just Berlin, New Hampshire. But I do end up landing in Berlin, buying a €4 train ticket to get to the city center. So the airport is down here, south of the city center. Took a train, a 40-minute train ride into the city center. I went to Berlin Alexanderplatz Bahnhof, and then walked, 3-4 minutes just down the street to my hotel. Um, and then when I did get to my hotel, it was a bit early to check in, so I dropped off my baggage. So I had a few hours to kill before I could check in. So just walked around Alexanderplatz. Yeah, and started taking pictures. Here's the television tower, ever present on the Berlin skyline. Um, yeah, I can't decide if it's very ugly or very beautiful. I don't know. Um, but yeah, and then here's the Berlin City Hall, I believe, with the Berlin flag on the top, with a bear on it. And then I arrived on a Sunday, and so this the church tower was ringing like crazy every couple of hours or every hour, I don't know. And here's Marx and Engels, put up by the East German government back in the 80s, I think. Um, and then, yeah, so here's just one of the maps for Alexanderplatz. I used Google Maps quite a bit, very successfully, but I did check these out and snap some pictures when I saw them. Here's another one for Mitte, just the wider area around Alexanderplatz. So yeah, here's another wide view of just this broad pedestrian zone and bike zone. Just beautiful space, beautiful weather when I landed. Still very green. I was curious, how fall it would look, how autumn it would look. But there was still a lot of green, but still quite a lot of color as well, which was just beautiful. And then, of course, Berlin has, is famous for these Ampelmännchen, these little light men, for the crosswalk sign. So um, the red fella means you can't walk, and this jaunty little green fella means go right ahead. And I do get to my hotel room. Here's just the view out of my hotel room, into this courtyard. Um, uh, um, yeah, not towards the street, which was nice. I think it was just nice and quiet. It was on the sixth floor. Um, yeah, and still beautiful color. You've got, green, yellow, and red, just in this picture alone. And then this was the next day. went walking around some more after sleeping for 14 hours. Um, yeah, the Brandenburger Gate. Um, and you can even see the Victory Column far in the distance. Yeah. And of course, I had to try some currywurst. Delicious, just fantastic. Smothered in ketchup with some curry powder, some delicious French fries. Good stuff. Good stuff. Here's the Reichstag. Um, yeah, another beautiful day with the nice and clear sky. Sun was out, still very green. Um, it wasn't too crowded. There's still plenty of people this late in the year, but I can only imagine how crowded it would get in the middle of summer or so. And then just some of the grounds um, near the Reichstag. Yeah, it's just beautiful. Love a good bench. Just more of the color. It was just beautiful. The color of these trees on the grounds. Here's another picture of the Brandenburger Gate. Um, yeah. And I believe this was a library. Just beautiful ivy on this beautiful architecture. Green fading into a deep red. Um, just beautiful. And here's a statue of Frederick the Great. And then here is another one of the buildings on Museum Island. I was a bit curious, is this a copper dome? Was it recently cleaned? It just doesn't have the green patina of a copper dome like the Berliner Dome, the Berlin Cathedral, which of course has a beautiful green copper dome, a few of them. And of course, the television tower in the background as well. Just very beautiful architecture. And I did take a lot of pictures of cobblestone while I was there. It's just fascinating and beautiful. Who knows how old this is? Is it 20 years old or 200 years old? Um, yeah. Um, and then to the left of the Berlin Cathedral is the Altus Museum. And here's a Ukrainian flag being flown for support. Um, yeah. And then the River Spree that flows through Berlin always presented just beautiful vistas. Um, and a lot of boats, a lot of boat tours. I didn't take any, but I did walk along the Spree quite a lot. I did go to Checkpoint Charlie as well. And this is where the American zone would have began. And here's a picture of a young American soldier. And then on the other side is a picture of a young Russian soldier who you might have faced to get through the border crossing. And of course, a KFC, and I did not eat there. And I saw this. This was on a bridge, 1892, 1893. But then I saw these squares of possible repair work, and who knows if this was damage from World War II or what that they repaired and fixed, but it's still there. And then after walking around for quite a few hours on that same bridge, there was a guitar player and a singer played some American songs. He sounded very American, and it was just a very nice way to end the day, just relaxing. He drew a crowd. There were pedestrians, walkers, bicyclists, with the Berlin Cathedral in the background. It's very beautiful. And then walking back to my hotel room for the night, here's the church again and the ever-present television tower. And then the next day, walking to the East Side Gallery. This is the rear side of the main gallery with a lot of graffiti art and a Mercedes building in the background. So here's the one section of the main East Side Gallery itself. Took a few pictures of these murals. But here's one that says, you know, many small people who in many small places do many small things that can alter the face of the world. And here's another one. He who wants the world to remain as it is doesn't want it to remain at all. And then, of course, some more currywurst. This was much better than the first one. Yeah, I think the first one was a bit of a tourist trap. Pay more, get less. This was a good portion. And of course, mayo and ketchup on my fries. The mayo left a bit to be desired. There was no Hellmann's, but still very good. And of course, just another street view. With the tower in the background, and these damn scooters and electric bikes are just a scourge on every city they're in. I never used them, walked everywhere. And then after the East Side Gallery, walked along the River Spree a lot more, and just very beautiful. Here's a beautiful orange tree along the river, along this beautiful path. And here's some very just beautiful, vibrant green trees along the river. And then, you know, this kind of random decoration is just almost all over. Just a nice lion protecting the sidewalk. And I tried to get in the middle of like each bridge I came across, you know, just to get a good get a good view, take a good picture. Here's the Berlin Cathedral in the background. Here's one of those tour boats. Yeah. Just another vista along the River Spree with Museum Island in the background with Ukrainian flags. Yeah. And I think this is one of my favorite pictures that I took just from a tunnel, a nice graffitied tunnel with a view of the Berlin Cathedral. And here's some beautiful, beautiful building with some beautiful ivy. Yeah, just right next to the river. A couple of good benches. Love a good bench. Kept walking along the river, made it near the Reichstag again. This is kind of the rear of it, and a bit rainy that day, but not too bad at all. And I think this building is called the Cube or something. Quite an interesting piece of architecture as well. And here's just another beautiful view. And I zoomed in. I think I feel like I didn't know anything about photography when I got there, but even just looking through these pictures, I feel like I know a good photo from a bad photo now, or I've learned a little bit more at least. But I think this zoomed in view is much better. I think my digital camera had like 25 times optical view optical zoom or something like that. But still, just these beautiful colors. And then I believe that's the Tiergarten, the big almost Central Park sized park in Berlin. But yeah. And just more color on the grounds of the Reichstag. The glass dome has been quite famous. I didn't go up it, but maybe next time. And then walking along Unter den Linden, or the 17th of June Street, I got to the Soviet memorial, the war memorial. Yeah, I don't speak or read Russian, but a statue of a very imposing soldier. And I kind of, waited patiently for all the other tourists to get out of shot, and snapped this picture. Another nice zoomed in photo of the back of the Brandenburger Gate. Still just beautiful, beautiful color. Another picture with the television tower in the background. Ever-present cranes as well in the background. A lot of construction going on. Yeah. And then along this street is the Tiergarten, and it's full of cool stuff. Here's a memorial for Beethoven, Haydn, and Mozart. Yeah. And then another statue in a nice manicured garden of a woman on a horse carrying a battle axe. Yeah. And then here's on the other, towards the other direction from the Brandenburger Gate is the Victory Column. Yeah. And then these the sidewalks just along this long street was just beautiful. Yeah. And then I made it to the Victory Column itself. This big roundabout in the center of a big roundabout. And another zoomed in picture. And so I made it to the front side as well. So there's crosswalks on these outer arms of the roundabout. And then I think there was, this tunnel was a recent addition to get from the outside on the outer edge of the roundabout up to the Victory Column. So you can get a much closer look. You can zoom in. And then the Tiergarten was just full of these beautiful walkways and paths that, might be the start of a fairy tale or something. And then this was a new day. I decided to walk to Charlottenburg Schloss, the palace on the west side of the city. And this was on the way there, just a nice view of the water in a nice green area. Another street view. I just love the streets, wide sidewalks, a lot of space, a lot of green, a lot of trees. Very beautiful. And then this was the palace itself, the front of it at least, or at least the side that faced the street. Here's another one of those maps with the Charlottenburg grounds, the garden in the back, along these waterways, right next to the River Spree. And of course, after seeing this garden, I had to make my way to the back, and the views were amazing. It feels like this is the front, or should be the front. But yeah, just beautiful views on just these beautiful gardens. And then just another picture, another beautiful day as well. The sun was out, blue skies. And then some water as well, on the grounds in the garden. And I spied out this bridge way back there. So I had to make my way there um, to get a good view. And boy, was it. Um, just a beautiful view. Another zoomed in picture. Plenty of people, although not too many. And found a good bench to sit on. And this was on the way back to my hotel. Just another one of the off streets. Um, yeah, with a nice sidewalk, beautiful trees. And then this was a new day. Bit worse weather. Kind of foggy, kind of sprinkly, drizzly. But I packed a rain jacket, so it's all good. And I made it to the let's see, it's on this. Oh, here we go. Up here, the Berlin Wall Memorial. Um, so from about up here, all the way down here, is a long walkway for the memorial, for a memorial um, to the wall, and these buildings that um, were, you know, right along the wall back in the day. They had these buildings had these huge murals um, just to display the important history. And along the walkway, along the walking path, were these displays with information. Um, and then these posts over here is signifying the presence of where the wall had been, where the wall was. Um, yeah, very fascinating. I really enjoyed walking along this memorial and learning about um, more of the history. Another one of these murals. Another nice photo of the television tower um, with, again, this beautiful color. And then go walking around late one evening. It was a very moody evening, beautiful, um, very beautiful. This was along Karl Marx Alley, I believe. Karl Marx Alley along this road. A um, very nice walkway, very beautiful street with this beautiful path. Just yeah, beautiful. And then kind of got a bit lost, but my hotel room was near the um, television tower, so I just it was a beacon that guided me, and even some of the lighting you can see on this low cloud coverage. And I did want to visit this section of the city again the next morning, just for better lighting and I brought my actual camera instead of just my phone, just to snap some better pictures. Nice green space next to big residential building. Another shot of the television tower from the middle of this crosswalk crossing the street. And then at this point, I'm turning down, I believe, this street here, and going towards the German Technical Museum. Just walking through the nice cityscape. Nice street cafe, but a lot of them were like this, just quite empty. It wasn't really the season for it, but still very, very beautiful. Can only imagine how lively it gets in the summer. Just another street view, just kind of random graffiti, street art, on my way towards the museum. The museum was amazing. I think my favorite parts were the shipping history. There were like 2 floors for shipping, 2 floors for aviation, and then even a lot more. There was some train cars that you could look at, section on computers, the history of computers, the history of textiles, printing, chemistry, photography, a lot at this museum. It was very, very nice. I spent quite a few hours there. And it had just so much, so many great examples and exhibits that I could just roam around. And this building even has an aircraft hanging on the top of it. I should have grabbed a picture of that, but we'll get back to that at some point. Then here's some examples of some of the printing as well, which is fascinating. And here's an old cribbage board from the middle of the 19th century. I love a good game of cribbage. Here's an interesting, just part of the photography section. I like these cameras, you know, being lined up with these portraits. Then on the way back to the hotel room, walking through the city, just these beautiful vistas along the water in these parks. Here's the, I believe this is the Anhalter Bahnhof. Yeah. Yeah. No longer a train station. And then, yeah, arriving back to my hotel. So my hotel is here in the background. There's a place for currywurst right here, and a place for doner kebabs here. And then to my left is a grocery store. So I was set. I was close to everything I needed to be close to. It was fantastic. And then this was early the next morning or so. I booked a ticket to Hamburg by train, and just another picture of this vista early on a Monday morning. And it was I was there the last weekend of October, and that's when the German clocks fall back for daylight savings. So that almost confused me about, you know, when my train was leaving and if I was going to be late or not. But made it to the Berlin main station in time. And it's, man, this is just a big shopping mall with, you know, a few train tracks thrown in. but very, very impressive. Um, very beautiful. And then here's Hamburg. This is my view when I walk out of the train station in Hamburg. And then I believe, yeah, let's scroll over to Hamburg. This was the Hamburg City Hall. Just beautiful. And then around this small little lake is just very, very picturesque and beautiful. It was, I think I lucked out and had some beautiful weather when I got to Hamburg. I think a lot of this time of year is very rainy and overcast. So I lucked out with a nice sunny day. And I walked around this lake and had some just very beautiful views. And the sun was just overpowering my camera even. Yeah, I found a good bench to sit on for a bit. Kept walking. There's a lot of high-end shopping in Hamburg. Yeah, but a lot of pedestrians and walkways in all of the streets. And then I go down a bit south to the Speicherstadt, which is kind of the warehousing district, basically. And here's the Elb Philharmonie in Hamburg, a pretty recent addition, but very photogenic as well. Just nice, beautiful old architecture. Nice view of part of the harbor as well, and you can see in the background, this is probably where the major port is at this point, doing all the, taking the containers off the ships and all that. There's the Elb Philharmonie in the background again. And then I saw this vista back when I was looking for things to do in Hamburg, and it was just such a classic view that I knew I had to find it and take my own picture. And all these beautiful red brick buildings, these old warehouses along the river. Just beautiful. And a statue of this fella from 1401. Interesting. Yeah, a lot of history. Just more beautiful architecture, red brick building. And the sun was just even almost too bright here. I wasn't even looking forward because it was just, the sun was directly in my eyes. But just a nice walkway along the water, along the harbor. Yeah. And this was a lighthouse, Lighthouse Zero, I believe. So looked interesting. So I snapped a photo. Another one of those maps in Hamburg. And then spent a few hours there. I think some of the clouds started to roll in at this point. Walked around this small little lake again before my train ride home. And the bridge, the Lombard Bridge. Then here's the Hamburg Bahnhof. A bit grungier than the Berlin Bahnhof, but yeah, it's very nice. It's fascinating. Train travel, we're just so behind in the US. It's so disappointing. And then nearing the end of my travel, my time in Berlin, started taking more pictures. Here's the city hall again in Berlin. This church again, and a nice, beautiful morning. Clear skies, very sunny. And of course, with this ever-present television tower in the background, you know, how could I not go to the top, to the observation deck? And I want to point out, when I zoom in, it looks a bit like coppery. I think there must be some sort of film, UV protection film on the windows, which kind of tinted the view outside. But I do go up top. Plenty of people. Although I can, yeah, like I said, I can only imagine how many people would be in there in the middle of summer. And then here's a view down onto Alexanderplatz. This is the famous world clock, but I didn't get a good picture of it myself. And then some major construction over there as well, as always. Slowly revolved, made my way around the observation deck, just to see the city from every angle. And in the background, you could see some windmills. And then here's the shadow of the television tower, and it's actually landing right on my hotel. And so this was my view out of my hotel window, hotel room window. Yeah. So I zoomed in a bit. Here's the door I went in and out of every day. The shadow landing directly on it. Couldn't have planned that. And then yeah, so here's that view again. Alibaba Bistro for the doner kebabs, the currywurst spot, and then Kaufland, the grocery store in this building that I went to quite often. And just some beautiful vistas, beautiful shots of the river and of all the cityscape in general. Yeah, just beautiful. And then I slowly made my way around the observation deck. The crowd kind of gathered on this. Let's zoom back over to Berlin. The crowd kind of gathered on this western view out of the tower, but I was able to get some good pictures. I just patiently waited to elbow my way into the crowd to get the good views, with the Berlin Cathedral down here, the Brandenburger Gate here, and the Victory Column down there in the big Tiergarten. And I saw this train go by, and just waited patiently for one to go by again, so I could snap this picture. This was the same tunnel that I took the picture of the Berlin Dome from. Yeah. I could see the Reichstag from up there. Snapped a picture of the glass dome. Just another nice view of the river and the city itself. I think I spent at least an hour and a half up there. I think I made two rounds taking pictures. Just beautiful. I saw a tram go by as well, and waited for another one to go by to snap it. Snap a picture of it going, taking this turn. Yeah, on this big intersection. You see all these lines for cyclists, pedestrians, and cars. I think the cyclists had their own traffic lights. I think buses might have had their own traffic lights, and of course, cars had their own as well. Um, yeah. Here's this church again, from above. And then at this point, I knew the German Technical Museum was this direction, and I thought it was going to be easy to spot, but I was having trouble finding it, and I took this wide shot just to see if I could comb through later and see if I can identify it. But it should stick out like a sore thumb, but I was just having trouble finding it. Zooming in, taking other pictures, um, just having difficulty spotting it. Um, but then I do eventually find it. It's in this photo here, um, right there. It has this airplane hanging on the top of the building. So I was able to find that and zoom in on it and take a photo from the television tower. Just another beautiful view. I think I got lucky with this clear view, clear day. Offered some fantastic views. Here's I think the Berlin City Hall again, with what looks like plenty of solar panels on top. So that's good to see as well, of course. And I took a photo of this. I wasn't even quite sure what it was, but I did just find it on the map. Ruins of a monastery church. Yeah, although I didn't visit it on the ground, but snapped a picture of it because it looked quite interesting. Just another view along the water. Here's that Mercedes building again. Yeah, and more windmills in the background. And then this was the Karl Marx alley again, with these twin towers here. Even caught a train going by on one of the bridges. And then yeah, I came back down and took a few more photos. This was my last day in Berlin. Here's probably the best picture I took of it, honestly. You can see the full thing. And then I had found this statue earlier in my trip, and wanted to come back and get some better pictures of it. This damn knight fighting a dragon. Here's it from the other side. It's fascinating. And then I had wanted to visit this church as well, because I heard there was some World War II damage still visible. But see all this scaffolding. So it was flanked by two buildings on the left and right. But I did see this section here, and these are bullet holes from World War II. But you know, with the scaffolding, I think they're finally getting around to spackling all these holes and fixing it up. Here's a zoomed in picture. And then I brought along quite a few books, but this is the only one I read. I did start it on the train or the plane ride out, and finished it on the plane ride to Columbus. Great novel, spy thriller story set in World War II, about a German spy in England. Good stuff. Good stuff. And yeah, that's it. That's the end. Yeah. Thank you for watching.